Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, traders. This is Aaron, also known as Eagle Star on the forums. Going step by step on how to plot out the Euro USD currency pair for today. We'll be using pitchforks and support, resistance, and sometimes channels. So I'm going to first start with the Euro USD, and if I have time I will go on to a couple other pairs, but I wanted to show this today and see what you guys' thoughts are, if it helps you, and which I hope it does. So first off, I use the 15-minute time frame for my lowest time frame. I also trade the 4-hour at times, and sometimes the 1 hour if I want to get in a smaller entry. Switching the 1 hour, you see that there's a huge run up the last few weeks since the beginning of September, when everybody came back to the market from vacation. A run up of about to the top 1,680 pips, as you can see there, which is a lot. So breaking down this market for right now, I'll show you what I usually do when I first look at my charts, because I have a lot of people that ask me questions, and they ask me how do I draw them. And hopefully this will turn into a daily thing where I can show you what I do. So if you see the run up here came installed at the top. So what I've been doing lately is I've been placing just basic support resistance dashed lines at major turning points, and this helps my eyes when I'm looking at market structure. And that's what Shane in the market geometry sections talks about, and I will go from there. So I look for the major highs and lows. If possible, I try to avoid spikes, because sometimes they don't always hold true. And these little small support resistance areas also hold a lot of weight too, because that's where buyers and sellers are. So not only for me does it help me to see where highs and lows are, but it also helps me to look at areas where there's potential for trades. If you look just at these support resistance areas, you can notice many times where, for example, right here, price stopped and turned. Example here, but you'd have to have a larger stop, and you'd have to know what the market's doing. But a lot of times the price just stops and turns. If you can find early enough times where you can get in and spot these double bottoms and double tops, you can place orders on these. And this little area here too, it broke down, but it didn't take the spike. That's why I say sometimes I don't like to use the spikes, because they're not always a representation of what the market's doing. So I'm going to delete these, and then we'll go and plot out the pitchforks. And also sometimes I like to use channels. So if you see a channel on my chart, you'll be able to understand how I use it. Alright, so we came up to this high right here, and about a week, 2 weeks ago, I drew a fork from this swing, from the top to the bottom to the top. And it just depends. Sometimes the forks work on the spikes. Sometimes you have to move it to the next high to the left or right. So when you're drawing, just keep that in mind. But as you can see, we had I take the A, the B, and the C, and I'll draw it in for my first few videos so new people can understand. I have a B, and a C point. And price went down and it touched almost exactly to the pip, the bottom median line. And when it does that, it means that price is going to run out of energy. If it doesn't run out of energy at the middle line and it makes it all the way to the bottom line, that's usually a point of change of direction. So always keep that in mind. For this particular example, it retested the upper median line, and if you saw this in real time, you'd want to look for chances to get short up here. And then it went all the way down to the bottom. And the reason why I kept this in is because it helps your eyes to see also the major points of turning. So, for example, you know, this area here, this area at the top are major market points, and these are what the big traders look at when they're looking to place future orders, because they use past data a lot of times to show where they want to buy or where they want to sell for future trades. So what I did in this for the most part is kind of sloppy now, the pink median line, and I tried to see if it could give me a warning line to the upside before today, before when I was charting, but it didn't work out for me. See if I can snag it. And it hit to the top, but it kept on going, so it didn't really give me too much to work with. So okay, so I take the 2 points that I put arrows on, and that'll be my new A, B, and C going to the upside. And I actually made this call in the Skype room that I have to think of a potential long. Actually, I think I was talking with somebody else. I didn't make the call in the room, but I saw this happening as it was bouncing here on these areas. I said look for a potential to go long, and a couple other traders said that this might not be a good area because there's a loss of efficiency here. And a loss of efficiency means basically that the price is not making higher highs within the median line. So as it's going up, it's not breaking the highs. It's actually gaining less energy. It's running out of energy. So you see the slant on this line isn't as great as the slant on this line, the median line. But I like this trade a lot because you could draw it just plain, with just a plain trend line. If I took this out, I could draw it just like that. And there are a lot of traders that got in this trade looking for some pips. But the great thing about the median lines are that you can roll your profits. Excuse me. You can roll your profits as well as, for example, if you got in a trade in any of these three areas, you'd be able to enter here, for example, with a stop underneath the previous low, and just keep rolling on, rolling your profits up, for profit stops. So for example, you got in here, as soon as it broke this area and started to head higher, you'd want to look at collapsing your risk. So you'd do a stop or break even. Some people like to do a stop a few pips above. And then this base here in this area, this base here, as that held and kept on going up, you would look to place your profit stop about 10 pips below the low. And as that went again up to the next high, and I should have drew that on the spike, but as it broke that one and went up to the top, you placed it there too. But it's how you want to look at your trade and frame it. Where are you going to get out? Would you want to get out in this area for a risk-reward ratio of greater than 3 to 1? Or would you want to go all the way to the median line? So say you risked 25 pips. You're conservative on this. You wanted to have a little bit larger stop. Your payoff for this trade would be 200. So that's 8 to 1. And eventually it hit the median line. And if your profit target was up here, it was almost 350 points. So that's about 14 to 1. And that's one of the great things I like about when you get runs in median line trades, is that you can have very large risk-reward ratios. So right now we're looking at a very large vertical, and what I like to do when I draw pitchforks is I take the previous points and look for new highs or new lows, and that a lot of times tells me what the price is going to do in the future. And I told this to a lot of traders today, and I posted it on the forum, that this looks like a potential lazy Z pattern and that it might continue to drop. So right here is finding a cluster of people that are buying and selling, and has bounced twice up here, and it looks like it's going to continue to drop to the downside. I drew a couple forks in on vertical move, sorry, I had a small interruption. I have about 45 seconds left on this video, so I wanted to show you what I drew in. I drew in a very steep fork, and that would give you the path of price that we're currently in. I like to keep green forks for longs and pink forks for shorts. And if you wanted to, you could do even something like this to draw from the range, to give a width fork, it's called. But that's it for me for this video. I just want to give you some ideas and show a little bit about how, and have a great day.